But I would say, I'll tell you someone who doesn't write women very well. Now, don't hit me, James Cameron. Doesn't write women very well.
Please elaborate.
Right, the whole Sarah Connor thing.
Yeah.
Now, I was saying this to Invid Ninja, Ollie, via Skype, because here's my thing. He succeeds in that he manages to kill Sarah Connor in the first one. The personality that Sarah Connor had is completely gone by the end of that movie.
But is that they've killed her personality, or that she's adapted?
I would argue that it's gone. Any vestiges of the person she is are pretty much gone. You see a slight echo of it in C2 when she breaks down because she can't kill the family of Miles Dyson.
Yeah, which is essentially, just a brief side note, which is one of the best scenes I feel in any blockbuster.
Yeah.
That sums up, that scene sums up why Terminator 2 is a masterwork.
Yeah.
Because it's big, it's expensive, it's bells and whistles, but at its heart, it has convincing arguments and characters about
the morality
the morality of humanity, essentially.
Well, it's like that scene where he's driving the car, killing Dyson might actually be friendly with. I don't care.
You don't kill people. You can't do it.
Yeah, I mean that's a good scene. But what I would say is, to me, that the time I love them. I love both movies. But to me, that shows you that dichotomy of what's wrong with portrayal of women in Hollywood. Either weak homemaker or warrior queen.
And just to link that back to The Descent, I think The Descent is one of the only movies, along with Kill Bill, that gets that line right. Because in Kill Bill, 95% of the time, she's warrior queen.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances of the plot, that's called for.
Yeah.
The ending of Kill Bill Volume 2, when she comes face to face with her daughter and breaks down.
I mean, that was the real shame about that movie was released, wasn't it? Because that was supposed to be a sucker punch for the audience.
Yeah, and apparently in the re-release that they're doing,
whenever we get that.
But apparently it works very well. But essentially, she spends both movies kicking ass and taking names, but there is still that undercurrent of a caring mother.
Yeah.
That's the reason she's doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the more convincing female characters. And yes, to a certain extent, it's male fantasy wish fulfillment, because Kill Bill was influenced by
revenge and exploitation flicks.
Yeah, exploitation flicks from the 70s, so it's gonna have that in there. Yeah. But I think Tarantino manages to sort of flip that on its head and bring it back round to the fact that she's a caring female character.
Yeah.
And I think he does it very well.
But like I say, that's still, I don't know, there seems to be three archetypes in the portrayal of women: either warrior queen, mother, or careerist Terminator.
Yeah, or I was going to say damsel in distress. But
but the thing is as well, I mean, I've said this to you before, there's a certain morality in a lot of stuff written for women which is, it's almost like, you know what objectivism is? Where, screw everyone else so long as you get what you want.
Yeah.
An almost objectivist portrayal of how women are supposed to be. Doesn't matter that you're really hurting anyone, you're going for what you want.
Yeah.
Which again can be quite harmful. One of the few films I like on that, and I've said this on my channel, it sounds daft, Devil Wears Prada.
I've seen it once and I don't really remember.
Yeah, Devil Wears Prada I don't mind that, because basically she does the whole career thing.
Yeah.
And basically the film says, yeah, you can do that, and you should, but bear in mind, it will cost you. There will be repercussions. The thing I like about this, that is, a lot of the films would go, where she was doing well, they do it where the boyfriend becomes dick. They basically shoot it those. They do it where the boyfriend is nice, but you can tell he's kind of a dick underneath.
Yeah, dick underneath.
Yeah,
no, that's really funny.
What's underneath my shirt? No. That don't feel good.
Sorry to take the wind out of sail.
No, but
just the way you said dick underneath.
Well, that's it. They basically portray that, the guy's not that nice deep down. What Devil Wears Prada does is basically, the guy's not a saint, but I like it where basically you see the hints that he's getting annoyed, and then quite realistically he just goes, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, you're not involved in this. And I don't actually mind Devil Wears Prada, and it's a film for women. It's very much about shoes and clothes and Cinderella. But yeah, the screenwriting of women is awful. I'll tell you where you see an example of where they can't do it now. Sounds like Superman Returns. How unlikable is Lois Lane in Superman Returns?
She's barely hateable.
Yeah, you do want to just punch her in the face. And you really do. And Lois Lane should be likeable. The whole thing is that Lois Lane should be the most insufferable, frustrating woman, but you can't help but adore her. It's a tough part to play.
And I've always really liked my favourite on-screen representation of Lois Lane has always been Margot Kidder.
Margot Kidder. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Terry Hatcher for at the time purely aesthetic reasons, but that's it. We'll talk about women's right to be portrayed properly, but we'll still say whether or not we think you're fit. But yeah, it's the thing of I'll tell you, it wasn't bad. Just as a complete sidebar. Portrayal of Lois Lane.
There's a lot of fucking sidebar. I've forgotten what the original thread was. I'm sat here trying to remember what we were talking about, and I don't know how we got to Lois Lane.
We're playing jazz on this one.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like we can rewind and go back. What were you going to say?
If you could think of if you can remember the original thread, put your answers on the stats question below. But no, she's a good patrol Lois Lane. But we were saying, way back when the original thread, we were saying about agendas and entertainment. Then we were saying how females, women were portrayed. We actually sorted out the lists.
How did we go from this to feminism to Lois Lane
to pro-life? What? Hold me. I'm scared.
We don't plan this shit either. We just make it up as we go along.
Oh God.
But right, anyway, please. They're like, who was great as Lois Lane? Who was it, Sam? Just spit it out.
Erica Durance from Smallville. I don't like the show, but she was a good Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Amy Adams, I feel, will be a good Lois Lane in Man of Steel.
Oh, yeah, I quite like Amy Adams.
Yeah. I like the fact that she's gone, no, I'm a redhead. Deal with it. Lois is a redhead in this movie. But then again, it's directed by another guy who doesn't really do women that well. See Sucker Punch, Zack Snyder.
Sucker Punch is annoying in that
there's a good film in there.
There is a good film in there, but Zack Snyder has said that it's empowerment, it's female empowerment, and blah blah blah. It's not. It's the opposite of female empowerment. Yeah. It's if prancing around in like skimpy outfits. It's a very male idea of female empowerment. Sucker Punch. So no, I don't agree with his assertion.
Can I just say, I know this is going to sound like I'm taking the wind out of your sail, but I'm basically hitting it now on the head. Sucker Punch. If a film where I can sit there with a semi through the almost entire running time, it can't be that empowering to women. It's probably not designed for them. That's all I'm saying.
And I do want to say as well, neither of us are prudish at all.
No.
Because I don't want this to come across like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. We're so in tune with the feelings of our feminine sisters.
But yeah, because, we're not prudish, but there are films out there that could potentially cause emotional harm to the audience, and that's what we're addressing, I believe. My eye is watering.
Yeah, it's... The thing is, you got to remember, as we've said, we are not the gatekeepers. We are just two film fans saying what we think.
Yeah.
But it is just so... that I think in days gone by, people used to be able to differentiate between this is schlock and this is something I'm going to see on a Friday night and it's disposable, and something that matters, for want of a better word. I think them lines are getting real blurred between what's Saturday night and what's something I'm supposed to take home and think about.
I'd agree with that. But yeah, It's a shame that female characters aren't particularly well written in Hollywood, but there is a way to do it.
I mean, you're talking about agendas because I think this will trail for the next part.
Yeah,
because we need to be wrapping this up now.
I think we do. How long have we been going? Just
a long
1 hour and 6 minutes.
Yeah, but basically, just to preface, because we were talking about agendas in movies, The Dark Knight Rises. Just to tease.
Yeah, The Dark Knight Rises. As much as we love it, I would stick my dick in it if I could. I like The Dark Knight Rises quite a lot. Yeah. I like The Dark Knight a lot. I can't help but have a nagging...
certain bits that don't quite sit right.
And I've mentioned this in the last series of Film Discussion, but there's a nagging, pulsing something in the back of my head. I hope it isn't a tumour.
That's it.
Yeah. But essentially...
Can you smell burning hair?
When watching The Dark Knight Rises, and I think, this is dangerously close to becoming fascist, capitalist.
You probably got Rush Limbaugh going, I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it does come close to becoming fascist, capitalist propaganda,
and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and it is fucking awesome. Capitalism for the win. FTW, bitch.
It's like I said to you earlier today. I love all these people who are communists until the hair straightners stop working. Yeah.
When you told me that, I spat my Pepsi out of it.
Like I say, all I can say is all these people who are communists, they like Starbucks, and guess what? Starbucks real fucking capitalist. That's all I'm saying.
No, but it's just like The Dark Knight Rises does certainly have. It feels like there might be an agenda there.
I'll tell you what. While we're talking about agendas, another movie. Forrest Gump. There's a lot of... I like Forrest Gump, but there's some really...
We both like Forrest Gump, but
dodgy stuff going on.
Beats you over the head with it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. So just to lay it out for you, you've got a character of Forrest, a man who does whatever he's told without question, who by the end of the movie becomes a millionaire. You've got Jenny, who represents the counterculture, who questions, who it's implied has got AIDS and dies. It's not really... subtle.
It's a bit...
And the only representation of the counterculture is angry Black Panthers and a passive-aggressive arsehole who slaps his girlfriend around. It's not really that even-handed.
No, it's not.
No, it's really not.
Mate, you didn't think about that the last time you watched Forrest Gump. No. We've just ruined it.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, if I'm doing that, Signs is basically a remake of Wizard of Oz. So, bust that shit.
Signs?
Yeah, man. Signs.
Really?
Remake of Wizard of Oz.
Shall we make this our last little bit of this video? Because, to be honest... we've been going a long time. They'd probably want to go to the toilet.
I know I do. But Signs is a remake of Wizard of Oz. Right, I'll tell you why. Set in Kansas. 3 characters with weaknesses that all become strengths. The lad with his asthma, the fellow with his bare fall swing, the girl with the drinks of water. Yeah?
Right.
The villain gets killed with water. Wicked Witch of the West.
Right.
Yep. And the lead character learns that everything he needed was there all along. The whole thing of...
I'd never thought of it.
Yeah, it's a remake of Wizard of Oz. Beat for beat.
There you go. Should we leave it?
I think we really should.
Right. Switch it off. How do you think that went?
I think you're going to have a tough time editing that shit. That's all I'm saying. Good